go up on my YouTube channel now. All right, I love you. All right.
Yes, we are looking at another war. Let's go ahead and get into it, ladies and gentlemen. So you have been hearing a lot that Christians are under attack in Nigeria, but it's not as widespread as they want you to believe. It's not as many people as they want you to believe. Notice that you're not hearing these individuals like Donald Trump, like Nicki Minaj, like corporate media tell you that a lot of Muslims have been killed in Nigeria. So we're going to break this down, folks. I'm going to tell you what this is really all about. One thing that you have to keep in mind is that the U.S. government is not there to help you. The U.S. government is not there to help the people of Nigeria. This is done under that disguise of help in protecting Christians in Nigeria. But that's not what this comes down to. It was reported just recently. You'll notice corporate media loves to cheer on war. Listen to this.
Jessica, it was around 6 o'clock Eastern time tonight, about an hour ago, that President Trump announced that the U.S. had launched strikes inside of Nigeria, targeting and killing elements of ISIS in the northwestern part of the country. We don't know how many people were injured, how many were killed in this American strike. What we do know is President Trump says the reason the strike was launched is because he says Christians within Nigeria, as you mentioned, have been targeted. Not just over the last year, but really over the last several years.
Now, let's pause here for just a second. Remember that when Israel bombed Christian churches, there was no retaliation there. There was no, let's protect the Christians in Israel. Let's protect the Christians in Gaza. Let's protect the Christians in the West Bank coming from the Trump administration or the Biden administration. Israel has routinely done this. They have attacked Christian churches in their vicinity. So if it's really about protecting Christians, why is this not happening regardless of the country? And that's something that you really need to pay attention to. So that is a way to push back on that rhetoric from the Trump administration. That's how you know this is not about Christianity. That is something that they are using as an excuse to go in, steal resources. We're going to get into all of it, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to talk about this faction of ISIS that is in Nigeria and how they got there. Let's continue.
He broke this news on Truth Social with a pretty lengthy post. I'm going to just read to you the back half of that post. He says, quote, "I previously warned these terrorists that if they do not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes. Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues."
Imagine saying Merry Christmas to that. Merry Christmas to more war.
Planning to publish your book? You could reach 3 billion more readers. If you've written a book and
we also saw the secretary, Pete Hegseth, say, quote, that the president was clear last month. The killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and elsewhere must end. He says the Department of War is always ready. So ISIS found out tonight on Christmas More to come, and grateful for Nigerian government support and cooperation. We know, because we've confirmed with a Pentagon official, that the Nigerian government was working with the United States. There was approval, and they worked in conjunction on these strikes. So that is an important caveat to this story here.
Yes, they were. But that doesn't mean the U.S. is actually trying to help them. And we're going to get into that as well. Pete Hegseth says we're going to protect Christians everywhere, except for the ones in Israel, right? What about when their churches are bombed by Israel? So do you see the hypocrisy? Guys, they use a different excuse every time. They've used weapons of mass destruction. When it was Libya, they said that Gaddafi was killing his own people, so we have to go in and liberate the people. There's now a slave trade in Libya since then. This is not going to be good for Nigeria. Basically, the U.S. government is going to go in and they're going to destabilize their country, just like every other country that they touch. So if it was really about Christians, you would see this happen all over the world, regardless of the country, but it's really not about that. So let's get to the Muslim part here. I want to show you this to you guys as well. This comes from Babangida. Babangida says, it's heartbreaking and true. Muslims in Nigeria cannot travel freely from southern Kaduna to Plateau without the fear of being singled out and killed simply for their faith. So he's given the Muslim perspective. The media often whitewashes these crimes, failing to name the terrorists. Rather, they shield them by calling them gunmen. Even those who murdered the ABU wedding travelers, Mangu Christian radicals, were granted bail by a court in Plateau State. The system is beyond broken. It is complicit. This is the other side of the story that you're not hearing about how Muslims are being treated there. They're only talking about the Christians, which is, again, I told you, the ultimate goal is to root out Islam, to root that out completely, to uplift Christianity, more so Christians who support Israel. Because this is all a part of the greater Israel plan. It's all a part of the plan that the U.S. government 100% supports. Now, here's another thing I want to show you. Interesting how Nicki Minaj speaks out about Christians in Nigeria, yet stays silent when Muslims are killed in mosques during prayer. Human rights shouldn't depend on religion. Funny thing as well, you didn't hear Nicki Minaj say anything about the Christian churches that were bombed in Israel. This is how you know this is all BS. But yes, this happened. There was an explosion at a Nigerian mosque during prayers, and it killed several people. Let's get into this here. By the way, this was December 24th. So this was Christmas Eve of this year. And we can't show the whole video there because it shows like the wounded people, et cetera, which we can't show on here. So it's important that we mention both of that. Corporate media isn't diving into this. Donald Trump's not going to dive into it because it doesn't fit his agenda. His job right now is to convince you that Christians are being slaughtered in Nigeria, and this is something that the U.S. government needs to help with. It's also a dog whistle, I would say, to evangelical Christians, trying to get them back on board with supporting the pro-Israel, the Israel greater plan agenda. This is all connected. And they know that they are losing support. They know that Israel has lost support, even within the Christian community here in the United States. So all of these pieces go together. Now, it is true that the Nigerian government worked along with the Trump administration for this to happen. I want to go ahead and show you this here from the government of Nigeria. Nigeria, United States security cooperation and intelligence collaboration hits at terrorist targets in Nigeria. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria confirms that Nigerian authorities remain engaged in structured security cooperation with international partners, including the United States of America, in addressing the persistent threat of terrorism and violent extremism. This has led to precision hits on terrorist targets in Nigeria, by airstrikes in the Northwest. So the government 100% helped the Trump administration with these attacks. But we've seen this kind of thing happen before where they really believe that the US government is trying to help them. They really believe, by they, I mean the government, not necessarily all the civilians. They really believe that the US government is trying to protect them and is trying to do the right thing. And this is often where a lot of times governments in other countries make a big mistake, assuming and believing that the US is operating in good faith. The US government is not there to help you without getting something that is going to benefit the US government. Ultimately, I think what this leads to is that the US government is going to convince the Nigerian government that you need to get on board and support Israel so that they can protect you. This is one of the tricks that is used. If you get on board with us with this, we will make sure that you are protected. They don't tell you about their other plans and everything else that they want to do. Brian Berlatek called it out immediately. Donald Trump brags about bombing yet another coincidentally oil-rich nation. Nigeria claiming to strike terrorists he claims are killing Christians on Christmas, obviously for PR points, not strategic purposes. This is after inviting Al-Qaeda in Syria leader al-Jawlani to the White House, who has been slaughtering Syrian Christians, Druze, and Alawites since the U.S. helped him take power under the Biden administration in late 2024. This is the part I think a lot of people who are not engaged politically day to day are not aware of. This is why I say they're protecting Christians is BS, because you literally have Jawlani, who is there slaughtering Christians in Syria, and Donald Trump 100% supports and backs what he's doing. This is why you need independent media to call these things out. The terrorists in Nigeria are a direct result of the U.S. overthrow of Libya. Likewise, using al-Qaeda terrorists, both the Obama and Biden and now Trump administration all support. Since the average Trump supporter gets their news from Fox and Breitbart or Newsmax, which has told them none of this, they are likely blissfully supporting all of these new wars, despite many voting for Trump to end America's decade-spanning global murder spree. And that was Trump there with Jawlani at the White House. This guy is killing Christians in Syria. This is the BS radar, ladies and gentlemen. But a lot of people, again, if you're not watching independent media, and you're only watching like corporate media, if you're only watching Fox News, you're not going to know about this. They're not going to dive into all of that. That's why independent media is so important. So it's a trick. It's a similar trick that was used about the weapons of mass destruction. When I say we have a gangster's paradise, and I say like we really have these people, a cabal of people, the wealthy and the powerful that are running things and that are calling the shots and can ultimately lead to our very destruction. This is what I'm talking about. The billionaires, which Trump is one of them. The people who go along with Jeffrey Epstein or went along with him. This whole elite bubble of people calling the shots and making decisions. And they have been fooling and tricking people for a long time. My fear with this one is I think a lot of Christians are going to fall for this one. I really do. And you need to tell them, why aren't you saying anything about the Christians being killed in Syria? Why aren't you saying anything about the Christians being killed in Israel, the churches that were bombed? Why aren't you saying anything about that? Why isn't your Lord and Savior and hero, Donald Trump, saying anything about the Christians being killed in all these other countries? That's the BS radar, guys. Now, Nico House, comrade, Nico dived into this very well. He saw it for what it was. Listen to this.
Donald Trump is considering putting boots on the ground in Nigeria. He's considering doing so allegedly because of this unique event of Christians being killed by Muslims, specifically the terrorist organization Boko Haram. Now we know That's some bullshit. We already know. However, there's also been a knee-jerk reaction from anti-imperialists that insists that this is strictly about gold and oil. And I'm here to tell you, it's a little bit more complicated than that. First of all, let me be clear. This idea that Christians are being killed and therefore that should be a valid excuse for us to invade Nigeria is bullshit. Because despite what people might believe, although Christians have been killed over the last several years, there have been more Muslims killed in Nigeria than Christians. And the Trump administration nor any Western institution has had anything to say about it.
And you don't hear Nicki Minaj saying anything about that. So pay close attention, folks.
The fact of the matter is, Christians from the South and Muslims from the North have been beefing in Nigeria since at least the 90s, nonstop. And Boko Haram, the terrorist organization responsible for killing both Christians and Muslims in Nigeria, was funded and financed by the US. We already know. So now that we know that this really has nothing to do with Christianity or protecting Christians, we can go and address the other part, which is it must be about oil and gold.
So we're seeing another example of the US government funding direct conflict in another country. We've seen this happen time and time again. So this is the part where I think, again, a lot of people are missing. We got to go in and we got to stop those terrorists. We got to stop that group that we created, that we funded. Don't forget, without the overthrow of Saddam Hussein, you don't have an ISIS. I continue to tell people the U.S. intervention ideology, the strategy, the policy, it leads to more destruction in those countries, oftentimes more destruction than they had prior to U.S. intervention. So it just over and over again, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 2024, Nigeria sends out about $58 billion in oil exports, principally to the United States, France, and Italy. And the reason why the oil, the gold, and other natural resources are going to states that are basically trying to invade Nigeria right now, especially the United States, is because Nigeria already has a U.S. puppet government in place, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all don't know about Tinubu, Mr. Falsify my college degree with a fake ass name, drug lord from Chicago who somehow became the president of Nigeria? Yeah, do some research on that guy.
Another Western installed puppet. So they get these governments in these countries to go along with U.S. imperialism and U.S. war. And so the public who's not engaged in foreign policy, like I think a lot of you are that watch this show and Nico and others, they just assume that, well, if that's what the government wants to do, if they want the U.S. to help, what's the big deal? What are we complaining about? They don't have the time or the energy a lot of times to research who these leaders are in these other countries to see that these are people who were installed by the West to do their bidding. That's why the government goes along with what the U.S. wants to do.
So now the question remains, why the hell would the United States want to overthrow their own puppet government? Well, the truth is, they don't want to overthrow the puppet government. They specifically need boots on the ground. They specifically need a base of operation. And it's not necessarily because of what's in Nigeria, but because of the countries surrounding Nigeria. Namely, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger.
And what is very important about Niger right now? Let me show you in just a second. We're going to come out. I'm going to show you something. We'll come back to that video. Let me show you what Niger just did. Niger issues a total and complete ban on issue of visa to all U.S. citizens and an indefinite ban on entry for nationals of the United States. This is an urgent retaliation to the U.S. Niger suspends access to its territory for American nationals. Access to its territory for American nationals. Based on the principle of reciprocity, this decision is part of a dynamic of affirming national sovereignty and translates Nimi's assumed evolution in the conduct of his diplomatic policy. Sorry, can't talk today. So that was just announced.
I deposited $400,000 from my life insurance policy into my checking account, and
they are not playing around. So Niger, and remember Burkina Faso, we all have talked about Burkina Faso multiple times where they said the American and the French, get out of our country. We're going to run our own country. You're not going to have anything to do with this. We've talked about what's happening in Burkina Faso. So it's very clear what's happening here. And there's Nigeria. Let's continue.
Otherwise known as the AES. In case you haven't been paying attention over the last couple of years, the AES was successfully able to kick out France and NATO powers. And they've been able to successfully repel all of the terrorist threats that basically NATO funded to overthrow the governments that took back their governments from the Western NATO powers. They've been able to do so by creating a union amongst the three: political, economic, and military union. A union that has, by the way, resulted in France crumbling to such a degree that they've had 525,600 prime ministers in the last 5 years because of the economic failures brought about by the fact they can no longer rob the AES states of their resources. These AES states, these Sahel states, have begun to diversify their economy, strengthen their military, and even partner with countries like Russia and China.
And that's why the U.S. government wants to have the boots on the ground in Nigeria so that they can go into those countries and they can destabilize them and take over. Any country that doesn't go along with the West and the Western agenda is ultimately a target. And that's what a lot of this is really about. Now, they couldn't just say, we're going to go into Nigeria, we're going to bomb Nigeria, we're going to go in and do this. So they come up with a reason. So the reason that they use is there's all these Christians that are being killed in Nigeria. But to Nico's point, there's more Muslims that are being killed in Nigeria than Christians. So what is it really all about? And if it's really about Christians, why are they okay with Jolani killing Christians in Syria? Why are they okay with Israel bombing Christian churches? This is the piece that is missing from the puzzle that corporate media isn't going to tell you. It's very important, guys.
To take back control. And although Nigeria is firmly in the control of the United States currently, we don't know how long that will last, because I'm sure Nigerians are looking over across the border like, man, it's looking kind of cool over there, man. You telling me the people are actually in control of their economy? The government is actually working on behalf of the people, and the resources of their nations are actually being used to better the livelihood of the people who live there? And I'm sure they give it to Tinubu and that puppet government the side I write about now. And since the United States can no longer set up shop in the Sahel states, and there is no legitimate reason to overthrow the Nigerian government because that's already a U.S. puppet government, well, we got to say Christians are dying all of a sudden because we don't really have any other excuse. We really just need to take back control of these countries.
Yeah. And that's what this is all about. And that's how they're going to sell this war to the American people. And they're going to tell you, we got to just get boots on the ground because we got to go save them and protect them. And a lot of people are falling for it. Even this guy right here, he sees the BS. Listen to this.
Trump just bombed Nigeria and everyone is misreporting it. That's because this is about one thing and one thing only. It is Nigeria's resources. It is not about Christian genocide. That didn't happen. It is not about ISIL. America has funded ISIL at times. America works with the people that fund ISIL, and America is interrupting the operations that actually undermine ISIL in Nigeria, the Nigerian government. Because let's be clear, bombing Nigeria, even if there are terrorists that the Nigerian government is fighting, is illegal, both under federal and international law. And this is not about protecting Christians, because even the Christians in Nigeria, by and large, do not support American intervention, which still kill Christians.
This is another example of a government not doing the will of the people. This is why I said When I say Nigeria, we're talking about the Nigerian government. We're not talking about the Nigerian civilians. And that's important for people to understand. So when you install the government that you want, it's easy to get them to go along with your agenda. There's a lot of puppets walking around throughout the world.
I'm well beyond justifying why there is no justification for this. But what I want you to learn from this, the very clear line that a justifying narrative spread for the past year by motherfuckers like Bill Maher, and then taken up by the right-wing mainstream of a Christian genocide in Nigeria, which was never happening, and no international human rights organization agrees with, directly led to people being killed by American bombs. It is important that we undermine these myths that are used very quickly by every single liberal and conservative mainstream institution to justify violating the sovereignty of another nation, killing its citizens, very clearly to steal its resources, something America and the West has done 4 times over in Nigeria as they funded coup after coup after coup after
coup. So it's hilarious to me that Donald Trump shouldn't even be able to say, remember when he told you there was a genocide against white people, the South African, the Afrikaners? Remember when he told you there was a genocide against white people in South Africa, and that's why he was bringing them here over to the United States? This government and the one before it greatly fund a genocide against the Palestinian people. As I just reported the other day, Palestinians are still being killed. There is no ceasefire. So it's all a game. And they are pretty successful at playing this game. So if you think that the US government just bombed Nigeria because they care about the Christians, you're being fooled. You're being fooled. Pass this along to your friends. Wake up, everybody. They always come up with a different reason. Hey guys, this was a
All right, guys. Once again, this is Frank. I am your host. This is the Revolutionary Repatriation Educational Lecture Series aspect of WCC. Every Saturday, but today is Sunday, at either 1 p.m. or 12 p.m. Once again, welcome. As you come on, please share, like, subscribe. What are you waiting for? Let's do it. Let's build. Let's learn. Let's grow. Let's go. Today's topic, it says, the U.S. have started religious war on the African continent. The United States of America have started a religious war on the African continent. And Africans going to kill themselves. Africans will kill themselves. And the U.S. will sit and watch and laugh just how systematically they have supported, directly or indirectly, the destruction of other nations, and they sat and watch and laugh. If I can recall to remind you, when Obama and Hillary Clinton went to Libya and they destroyed Libya and killed Gaddafi, Hillary Clinton came and said, we went, we saw, we killed, and we destroyed. And Hillary Clinton sat and laughed about it. After they have destroyed Libya, an economy that was built by the Libyans, but it went in, the same United States went in and supported the Arab Spring. Don't get it twisted. Another terrorist group, don't get it twisted. And they destroyed Libya. They killed Gaddafi. They killed innocent people. And Hillary Clinton said, we have been hunting down Gaddafi for over 30 years. And at this time, we have succeeded. And she laughed about it. How did they get to Libya? They got to Libya when they lied to the Libyan people and said, we want to give you democracy. The United States of America, the war police, in quote, want to give you democracy because your government, your leader, Gaddafi, have failed to give you democracy. If to say democracy even exists, even the United States does not practice democracy. Even the US does not practice democracy. Even the US does not believe in democracy. It is a fallacy. When they talk about democracy, it is not real. And it said they wanted to give democracy to the Libyan because the Libyan were suffering. Gaddafi killed the Libyan. Gaddafi mismanaged the resources of Libya towards the Libyan people. And henceforth, the United States was going in to distribute equally the resources of Libya for the Libyan people. And in doing so, the United States was going to create a government, so-called democracy, for Libyan. But little did we know, the United States is one of the countries in the world that can lie. If the US says to you, this letter is A, the truth is, the letter is not A. The letter might be B or C or even look beyond. If the United States government says to you, this letter is capital C, do not believe the United States government. Look beyond that letter. You will find that letter. If the United States government says to you, this is the meaning of this, look beyond for clarity. Because the United States government speak in code. They never, ever, ever speak the truth. They speak the truth when their aim have been accomplished. That's the time the United States government speak the truth. When their aim have been accomplished, that's the time they speak the truth. And that will come in documentary. That will come in narrative after maybe 10, 15 years. And then that's the time you will see the truth coming out. Then you see Libya. The truth of Libya came out after the United States and NATO killed Gaddafi and bombed Libya and destroyed Libya. The truth came out after 10 years, 15 years, 11 years, before the United States government or the United States Congress began to explain the story as to why they went to Libya and destroyed Libya and killed Gaddafi. The United States speak the truth after their aim have been accomplished. When they went to Iraq or Baghdad, when they killed Saddam Hussein, the truth came out after another 10 years. After another 11 years, after another 15 years, the truth came out. And they said, no, we thought there was weapon of mass destruction, but there was no weapon of mass destruction. But we were going there because we wanted the people oil and the people resources. That's the time the truth came out, after their aim was accomplished. That is exactly the United States government. And to you, Nigeria, this is Africa. We will speak on it because we love Africa. We will show our faces here because we love Africa. We are not afraid to speak the truth when it comes to Africa. The United States government is not in Nigeria because of Christian. The United States government is not bombing Nigeria because of Christians. Yes, they bomb tourist area, as they said, and some Nigerians are happy who don't know how the United States operate, how the West operate. They are still growing. They need more learning. They don't know. Yes, they are pushing the narrative. All Christians are dying. But the reality here is more and more conflict will be caused on the African continent. Nigerian, do not sit and look at your government. Your government have created chaos that is beyond your thinking. More chaos, chaotic situation going to happen in Nigeria. You see how you see the Middle East today? That is exactly how Nigeria going to be. What has started in Nigeria, and some of you Nigerian, I'm sorry to say this, because you don't know what is coming. You don't know what we know. And some of you are sitting there rejoicing. Oh yes, let Trump come. Trump come with the second bomb. Trump come with the third bomb. Trump come with the fourth, the fifth. And guess what? The 7, the 8, the 9, the 10, and on bomb going to come. The way you see the Middle East, that's how Nigeria is going to be. And the truth is, it is a religious war and political war. What you saw going on in Nigeria with the United States government is political. So, it is political war for the West. And it is going to be religious war on the African continent. Because what you're going to see now is going to be religious war. The Muslims, on the other hand, are going to gather themselves and equip themselves and says, we are not being loved. Christians are getting love, and it is because of Christians they are killing us. And let me say this to the Nigerian government and to you, Nigerian. Your military does not have only Christian. Remember that. Hold on, folks. Your military, the Nigerian military, it is not only Christian. I believe it is both Christian, Muslim, non-religion or religious personnel, and also traditionalist. People who believe in an African tradition. The Nigerian military does not only comprise or entail or involve Christian. You have Somali, there are people there who believe in Christianity. You have people in the Nigerian military who believe in the Muslim religion. And you have other people also who are not Christian and who are not Muslim, not religion. And you also have people in the military who are traditionalists, who believe in the African tradition. Get that clear. Get that clear. And some of you, you are Christian, you live right here and you live by a Muslim. And the next black live by Christian. The next black, Muslim. The next black, non-Muslim, non-Christian. And the next black, somebody who is traditional, who believes in traditional God or African way of belief. Understand this. The Nigerian military does not only entail Christian or Christian believer. So, if Daniel Trump is saying Tinubu or the Nigerian government collaborated with the government of the US and then went in to fight for Christian. Oh my God. You are playing with fire. And some of you are so ignorantly supporting what Trump did and calling for another attack. Oh man. I hope you understand what is coming, what is about to happen. Nigeria is about to be destroyed. The army of Nigeria, let me repeat. So are you telling me if the Nigerian army go to fight, they are going to fight Christian? So if those in the Nigerian army are Muslim and the whole thing have been characterized as Christians are being dead or Muslims are killing Christians, and the American government is coming in to protect Christians, there are people in the army who are Muslim. Look, you see what I love the AES, what I love Abraham Traore. That's what Abraham Traore saw. And he told the Nigerian government, the fighting of terrorists, it don't have to be Osado, because Osado will come out with different narrative. A narrative that they will preach to their perspective. The fighting of terrorists, because in the first place, these terrorists are being sponsored by Osado. These terrorists are being sponsored by foreigners, not Africans, not African organizations, foreign organization, OSA organization. Knows that according to Scott Perry and an American Congress stated that Boko Haram, Al Qaeda, ISIS are being funded through the American government with the collaboration of the USAID, according to Scott Perry. These terrorists are funded by USAID, according to Scott Perry. Now, most of you Nigerians that are supporting Trump, you have never come out to speak on this. To say, wait a minute. Trump is saying he wants to come and fight terrorists or jihadi or Boko Haram. But on the other hand, an American Congress, U.S. Congress, Scott Perry stated the same Boko Haram that is killing Christians. Now, this is why I'm getting so mad with some of these so-called Nigerians. For you to question the United States, the same Boko Haram that is killing Christians, I've been funded by you, your organization, USAID. And this was narrated, clearly stated by a United States Congress, a United States lawmaker, Scott Perry, and others. I thought you're supposed to question the United States government and even take the United States to the UN and to the ICC, and for the United States government to pay for life and property that is being lost because it is their taxpayer money, it is their organization that is funding the terrorists. But you ignore all of this, and you are calling for more chaos. You know, it baffles me when I see people celebrating African independence Day. Look, it hurt me. Africa is not independent, folks. Because sometimes I wonder and I ask myself, what is independent? Independent, what is independent? What do we mean when we say independent? Nigeria, that we classify as Africa or West Africa superpower. Oh my God. Nigeria, you cannot protect your people. You do not understand what independence is. Have you asked yourself, say the United States start bombing the Middle East, have they eliminated terrorists? Have they defeated terrorists? Have you asked yourself? Since they started bombing the Middle East, have they defeated terrorists? Have terrorists been eliminated? Ask yourself this. It is a recipe for internal conflict. But I'm done talking. Let's read. I think I got 3 or 4 articles for you to dive into it. And you see, by the way, when they say they were fighting for Christians, they are not fighting for Christians. The United States government does not care the hell about Africans. Whether you die, you live, you survive, you this, you die, they don't care. When they said they care for the Libyan, look at Libya today. Look at the Libyan today that are regretting. Look at how Libya is destroyed today and they are regretting. They don't even know whether Libya will come back in the next 20, 50, 30, 40 years. They do not know. But they were there in the name of fighting for the Libyan. But look at Libya today. And it baffles me so much that we Africans, we are so dumb and stupid. We can't learn. We cannot see all the things that happened before and began to question and say, but listen, America, you were in Libya. Look at Libya. What did you provide for them? Look at the life of the Libyan today. You destroy Libya. We never let Africans are stupid and dumb people. The dumpiest race on the planet Earth are African people. The African race are the dumb and stupidest people on planet Earth. Yes. We never learn. We never go back and see things and says, you know what, this is not right. How long are we going to sit and look at the same people continues to lie to us? And then tomorrow we will come back again and say, oh, it was not about Christian. Can we sit and say it was never about the Libyan? And tomorrow again, she wants to come back here and sit and say it was never about Christian. Really? Do you want us to come back and do that? When they even said the Nigerian government and the US government are in collaboration, they agree. Folks, let me tell you something. There is no collaboration to the force. You cannot force somebody. And then you say, we collaborated. You cannot threaten someone. And then you say, we collaborated. And this is why I began to say, no independent state in Africa except the AES. Nigeria is not independent. I think last 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, I said it here and I brought the article. The Nigerian army, the Nigerian government, the Nigeria as a nation does not have a defense mechanism. And you, Nigeria, you don't know. Most of you don't know. Go into your research. You do not have an army to protect you. You do not have a defense. Buhari gave that over to the United States government. Your right as a nation to have a military to support you and protect you was given over to the United States government. Go into your research and see how they remove the former president, Jonathan Goodluck, before Buhari came in. And when Buhari came in, go into research and see what was some of the reason they supported Buhari. And they removed Jonathan Goodluck. And again, the same book that they're playing right now, it was the same book that was played. Buhari, a Muslim man, they went to Congress the same way again. Oh my God. Oh, Muslims are being oppressed. The same narrative. Muslims are being oppressed by the Jonathan Goulart government. Muslim does not do this, Muslim this. And the Muslim people, Buhari and other delegates, came to the US Congress. And you see, sometimes, like I say here, we like to balance equation. Do we really blame the United States? And I keep saying no. No. We Africans are very stupid, dumb. We never learn. And that is why people continue to use on left and right. Do I blame the US for what the US? Look, the US will do what the US need to do to survive. China will do what China need to do to survive and protect herself. Russia will do what Russia need to do to survive. All the continents in the world with their respective nations will do what they need to do to survive. If the US and Europe cannot take responsibility of what they did to Africa to enslave them, and then went and colonized their continent, and then systematically, directly or indirectly, killed their democratic leaders, their lovely leader, their visionary leader, and they all no regret. It is how they survive. So if they are sophisticated in manipulating, finding ways how to survive, do you blame them? Because we continue to be stupid? Do you blame them because of our stupidity? Do you blame them because we continue to be naive? Do you blame them because we continue to ignore the truth? Do you blame them because we do not want to grow? We do not want to take responsibility? We do not want to train? We do not want to unite? Do you blame them if we fail to unite? Do you blame them? Absolutely not. This is what we balance equation. You think we're just going to point finger at the US? Oh, the US this, or the US that. Yes, we will do that. But equally so, that the truth be pointed at. We are here to discuss what is going on, but also the problem. So if we look at history, Europe or the West or the US, this is what they do to survive. Maybe they are just being so sophisticated because they are always finding ways to convince and stuff. But while we black people continue to be dumb and stupid, and then we will come back, oh, Europe this, oh, the white man this, oh, that, all that. Because, and they use us, they use we the same people. Why? Yesterday, it was the Muslim that was going to Congress. Today, it is the so-called Christian. We allow foreign religion to continue to play on us. Let's continue here.
Could take military warning that the U.S. could take military action to stop violence against Christians in Nigeria. President Trump announcing that he had done just that, delivering a strike on Islamic State terrorists in the country's northwest. Missiles launching off a U.S. warship destined for northwest Nigeria. U.S. Africa Command says the strikes targeted Sokoto State, which borders Niger to the north, and in quote, coordination with Nigerian authorities.
Now, the map you see, does this look familiar? The map you see, does it look familiar? This is how exactly the Middle East, for each time they bomb the Middle East, they will come out and show the map. Oh, the US bombed it. Oh, this and another terrorist, and oh, terrorist is in a region. Oh, terrorist is down here. Terrorist is northeast. Terrorist is northwest. Terrorist is this. Terrorist is that. This is what exactly going to be happening in Nigeria and across the African continent. Remember, Muslims are not just in Nigeria. Muslims are all over the African continent. And Muslims going to feel that Christians are going against them. Christians are being loved. And it is going to be a religious war. Muslim versus Christian. We said this before. While in the West, it's going to be political war. Now we're going to explain that. I think part of that was explained in the previous video that we played. It is going to be a political war that scrambles for Africa. It is going to be a political war that scrambles for Africa. While we fight among ourselves religiously. Oh God. Let me stop here. Let's continue, man.
Coordination with Nigerian authorities.
Collaborative effort between Nigeria and the US, and President Tinubu gave the go-ahead before it took place, and we don't see it violating.
Now, he said President Tinubu gave the go-ahead to carry on a strike. And they do not see anything wrong with it. But listen to this, folks. Do you know why Tinubu agreed? Even if Tinubu did agree, do you know why he agreed? There was a threat the United States government made to Tinubu. Look, and that is what I said. It was never a negotiation. It was either you agree or this is what's going to happen to you. Either you agree or this is what going to happen. Either you agree or this is what we're going to do. And we're going to show that here. Why Tinubu agreed that they are not telling the Nigerian public and Africa at large. There was a threat made to Tinubu government. Whether you like it or not, this is what we're going to do. Let's continue. This is the ECC.
Our sovereignty or territorial integrity.
In a post on social media, President Trump says he directed a, quote, powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who he said had been killing innocent Christians. A U.S. official told CNN the strikes included Tomahawk missiles fired from a Navy vessel that struck 2 ISIS camps. Nigeria's foreign minister, Yusuf Tagar, says his country is committed to the fight against terrorism, saying it is not a religious conflict, but a regional security threat.
It's not a Nigerian problem. It's not a Christian-Muslim problem. It is a regional problem, but we're putting all of that aside we accept that we need the support of other countries.
For the last several months, Trump has been focused on the plight of Christians in Nigeria, including calling on Defense Secretary Hegseth in November to, quote, prepare for possible action. Both Christians and Muslims, the two main religious groups in the country, have been victims of attacks by radical Islamists.
Nigeria's president has not yet publicly commented on the strike, but earlier in the day shared a Christmas message on social media saying, quote, I stand committed to doing everything within my power to enshrine religious freedom in Nigeria and to protect Christians, Muslims, and all Nigerians from violence.
Now, they sound very sweet, right? You see, that is why I believe the AES. Africans will continue to be in this kind of condition because, number one, we are very stupid. Two, we are very naive. Three, we never learn. Four, we never know who the enemies are. And five, we continue to use division among us instead of uniting. And this is what the AES have done, unite. And you see how strongly they are growing. And Abraham Traore said this, Burkina Faso alone cannot fight the terrorists. Niger, Mali cannot. And even Nigeria, so-called Nigeria that say she is an Africa superpower or West Africa superpower. Today, that title has been stripped from Nigeria. Nigeria is no longer Africa or West Africa superpower. That title has been stripped, have been taken away from Nigeria. You are no longer a superpower. We no longer see you as a superpower, Nigeria. Never. We have taken it from you. You are not a superpower. You are a failure power. Nigeria, you are a failure power. We once saw you as Africa hope. We once saw you as Africa pride. We once saw you as the leader of the African continent or West Africa. We once, but today, you are Africa hopeless. Today, Nigeria, you are Africa hopeless. Today, you are no longer a superpower. You are a lesser power. Shame on you, Nigeria. Shame on you. For establishing, for you to be the center of Western war on the African continent. Shame on you. Shame on you for you to be the center of Western conflict on the African continent. Shame on you to take Africa back in those days again. Shame on you. Abraham Traore already gave you the solution. Only African can solve African problem. Only African can defeat Boko Haram, Axis, and Al-Qaeda or whatsoever. See, when they took out the American military, the Canadian military, and the French military, even the German military, all foreign military, when they took them out of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, see the success they are making in our region, in our part of Africa. See how strongly they are growing every day. And see at the same time, see how they are building their economy without any foreign loan, stupid loan. No foreign loan, but see how the nations are growing. See that how those nations are growing. No loan, but look at development. The human capacity development, look at it. Those are the independent countries on the African continent. Nigeria, you are not independent because you took your military services and gave it to the US and gave it to foreigner. That is why you can't protect life and property in Nigeria. Shame on you. You are no longer an Africa superpower. We scraped that from you. We once saw you as Africa Hope. Yes, we did. We saw it. We once saw you as the lion of Africa. We once saw you as the leading force, the leader of Africa. We respected that. But today, you are the hopeless of Africa Hope. You are hopeless. You are no longer an African giant. You are no longer Africa Hope. Because you want to use Western influence to destabilize Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. That is why France, a small nation, tiny nation that is struggling, just because Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso have said, we are using our uranium and our gold that have been empowering France. Every year, France gets $500 billion. Every year, $500 billion from Francophone nation. But those nations have said no, and France is crumbling. Tiny nation like France, you Nigeria, you are powerful than France. You have resources. And you sat down there, Emmanuel Macron, all of you, to take your plane, to fly, to go to Benin, to stop a revolution that was about to take place, freedom and independence that was about to take place. You stop it. And then it didn't stop there. France, all of you, Macron, all of you, to go to Burkina Faso with your airspace or your aircraft, whatsoever you call it, to go and spy, to get information to France and the West. And the plane was jacked down. Are you kidding me? So you have Air Force. You can't use it because you sold your services to outside of foreign nation. Let Nigeria go do their research. That is why you are no longer Africa's superpower. We take that from you today. Shame on you, Nigeria. Let's continue here. Now, we are going to read from the New York Times. They've been sending me warning that, man, the time to hold this article was expired, and they want me to subscribe and start paying for it. I think after today, because I've been having it. I'm supposed to answer the call, but let me see. I will call you right by enter. Yeah. Today is my birthday, so that's my aunt calling me to, sing happy birthday song for me. That's why, but I will call her, after. She will still sing a happy birthday song. Today is my birthday, folks. But let's see here. Let's go to the New York Times. Let's go to the New York Times. Now, U.S. strike ISIS in Nigeria after Trump warned of attack on Christmas Day or on Christmas, right? Let's read here. The attack came after President Donald Trump ordered the Defense Department last month to prepare. So listen to this, folks. They said it was a coordination between the Nigerian government, right? Fine. Previously, I told you, Tinubu have no options because you cannot say we collaborated, but you threatening someone of what to do if they don't do this. But listen to the New York Times. The attack came after President Donald Trump ordered the Defense Department last month, and after Nigeria was not there. So either way, it was still going to happen. Because there's a hidden motive, there's a hidden agenda in this whole US strike in Nigeria, this whole Christianity. It is not about Christian. So-called Christian, it is not about you. They don't care whether you die, because you've been dying in that country. Whether Muslim or Christian, you've been dying. 15, 20 years ago, you've been dying. The US didn't care. But today, they say it is about you. You must be stupid and dumb to think it is about you. If it is about you, I mean, Africa is the only continent in the world that supersedes churches. Look, the churches in Africa, you can combine the US, you combine Europe, you combine Australia, you combine Asia. I mean, you can combine the rest of the 6 continents, right? You can combine the rest of the 6 continents. The churches that will be in our 6 continents, right? Those 6 continents, the churches in those 6 continents will not even come close to the churches in Africa. And I'm telling you, the churches and mosques in the rest of the 6 continents, we have 7, right? Africa is not there. Take Africa out. I mean, the rest of the 6, the churches and the mosques in the rest of the 6 continents, if you combine them, the churches and the mosques in Africa alone, it would be more than the churches and the mosques combined the 6 continents. But God never answered their prayer. Let me go further. The time taken to pray in the rest of the 6 continents, whether Christian or Muslim, the time taken to pray and the time taken in Africa to pray, if you combine the 6 continents, the time taken in Africa to pray would be more than the time taken in the rest of the 6 continents to pray. That means the time taken in the rest of the 6 continents to pray is lesser time. But God answered their prayer. Allah answered their prayer. Jesus answered their prayer. Then Allah answering African prayer, or then Jesus answering African prayer. Why? Is that because we pray too much? Or is it because there are too many churches and mosques on the African continent? Let's continue. Africa will learn the hard way because we are the dumpiest and stupidest people on planet Earth. Very stupid. Let's read. The attack come after President Trump ordered the Defense Department last month, which was already in place. Nigeria, Tinubu did not know about it, to intervene militarily in Nigeria to protect Christians from Islamic militant. From Islamic militant. The same way they dehumanize the Middle East. Muslims are this, Islamists this, that. That's the same thing they are about to do on the African continent. And African people are so naive and setting and supporting this narrative. Let's read. The United States launched a number of strikes against the Islamic State in northern Nigeria. So they are already calling it Islamic State. Not, oh my God. You see, look, people will read and they will not understand here. So Islamic State, not Christian. So that means, because first of all, Nigeria is divided, Christians and Muslims. In one area, Muslims are Christian. In another area, mostly are Muslims. And we're going to see that. So now, instead of the United States saying, we went and we strike the assets of the terrorists, but they are saying that when they strike a state where Muslims are living or Muslims stay, do you see the religious war? So Muslim states are now being targeted. Do you see how the West come and manipulate us and create the chaos, capitalize on the chaos to accomplish their aim, and then go and sit down, then watch? This was the same thing they did in Liberia, and Liberians killed each other. And then they said ignorantly it was a civil war. Meanwhile, it was international war that was fought. Mostly American-made weapons proliferated in Liberia, and Liberians killed Liberian. And then they said it was a civil war. Modern weapon. None of those weapons were made in Liberia. And Liberia does not even make weapon. But we said it was a civil war. The civil war that was never fought by any primitive weapons. Primitive weapon, I mean weapons made by Liberian. But it was all modern weapon that proliferated, that was put on ship. Oh man, from the America to the seacoast of Liberia. And we say it was a civil war. And ignorantly, Liberians who have never done their research will come and say it was a civil war. Nigeria, be careful what is coming. And there's going to splash, it's going to spread on the African continent. Religious war. And politically, it's going to be in the interest of the West. Because the entire African continent is going to be destabilized. And that is what they want. The scramble for Africa. Africa is already divided. The scramble for Africa in this 21st century is not going to be well. Europe in the 1884 Berlin Conference, when they sat down in Germany, Berlin, and took pen and paper and divided Africa among themselves with petition. And say, US, go to Liberia. France, go to Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, Ivory Coast, Guinea. England, go to Nigeria. Go to Ghana. And go to Sierra Leone. Portugal, go to Cape Verde. Germany, go to Cameroon, which Cameroon later became the French and the English colony in 1916, when the French and the English collaborated, they fought the German and they defeated the German, and the German ran off. And then today in Cameroon, in 1916, one part became French and one part became English. Oh my God. That is not the case today. Today, those partitions are still there. And it is those petitions that Africans are relying on. Number one. And number two, the religion that was taken and brought to us. So Africans themselves will be used to carry on the division, the recolonization of the African continent for Europe and America. How sad it is. How sad it is. That is why Africans are the stupidest and dumpiest race on planet Earth. Oh yes, I'm a sound house, but it is the truth. Because there is what happened to the African people in the African continent. It will never happen to the West. It will never happen to Europe. It will never happen to America. And when I say America, you know what I mean. I'm not talking about you black folks. It will never happen to the West. What happened in Africa with African people? Had it been the West, do you think black people would have still been carrying on manipulating white people or the West or Europe? Africa. Why are we stupid and dumb? But we will still come, oh, America, oh, Europe are this, oh, this, oh, this. No, it is because of our stupidity that they still use us. The same nation, let me put my face on camera here, Claire. The same nation, the United States, Europe, UK, that said they will never ever give a veto power. And God, African, we stupid. We are dumb and stupid. The same people that said they will never ever give veto power to the African continent on the United Nations. You expect the same people to come and die for you, to come and fight for you, when they're supposed to give you the avenue, when they're supposed to give you the platform to fight for yourself and your interests. They said no. They will not give you that platform to fight for your interests, to voice out your interests, to empower yourself. They said no. In fact, they say if we give Africa the power, the veto power, the United Nations will become dysfunctional. You know what that means? It means a lot. The UN will become dysfunctional if we give Africa the power to do for herself. And then you expect these same people to turn around and come and fight for you. Wow. Let me clap for you. Let me clap for you. Let me clap. Let me clap. Let me clap. Let me clap. The same people and the same man, Donald Trump, who refers to you African as a shithole. Oh my God. Let me clap for you. Let me clap. Let me clap for you. The same Donald Trump who said you Christian are shithole. Oh man. Look, African, we are the stupidest people on planet Earth. Dumb and stupid. I have never seen anybody stupid and dumb like African people. The same man, Donald Trump, who said African people who practice Christianity, as I'll paraphrase it, you are shithole. The same man who said, oh my God. The man who said Africans are shithole. They cannot govern themselves. They cannot protect themselves. They do not know their value, their worth. They do not know what they have. They and their leaders are shithole. You expect this man to come and fight for a shithole race, to come and fight for a shithole country like Nigeria, to come and fight for a shithole continent, like the African continent, to come and fight for a shithole people. You expect him. You expect that. Let me remind you again. You remember the incident when it first happened in Ukraine, when they forbade African people to get on truck, on buses, on public transportation, train, to find safety area. When even their media said African people was worthless, even they said their dog should first get on the plane. Their dog should get on public transportation. Their dog should get on the buses, on the train. And they said Africans should not get there because African was worthless and useless, and African were not human beings. When the situation happened in Ukraine, their media, they said it. And they said, if anyone is to die, it shouldn't be white people with blue eye, blue head, white eye, this. And they said, Africans should be the one to die. Imagine that. You see how we are stupid? We are the stupidest people on planet Earth. No, I'm saying these things not because I'm saying it because I want to say it. I'm saying it because these same people, yes, they said you shouldn't get on the bus. You should die. Even their pet, they said their pet was worth living. Their dog, their cat, even their rat, rat in their houses that they saw as pet. They said it was better for the rat, the mad, the one you call mad, should get on those public transportation and train to find safety. Then you Africans, black people, to get on those public transportation. They say they prefer you dying. In Ukraine, when the thing happened, nations sent plane to emulate white people or their citizens. They left your people there. A continent, Africa, couldn't provide plane to go to Ukraine to airlift African. This unity. But we are proud to say we are Liberian, we are Ghanaian, we are Nigerian, we are Sierra Leonean, we are South Africans, we are Zimbabwean, we are Namibian, we are Togolese, we are Beninese. We are proud to get this colonial identity. But in Europe, no, they did not say, we are going to airlift, or how they call it, or German. We are going to airlift the Polish or the Norwegian. No, they said we are going to uplift the European. Europeans are dying in Ukraine. We are going to find safe. They refuse for you to get on plane. Daniel Trump did not ask the government at that time to send plane to Ukraine to go save Christian. When they refuse for Christian, black Christian, African Christian to get on board to be saved, Daniel Trump did not send plane. Daniel Trump did not speak to the Polish or to the European Union. Daniel Trump did not speak and say there are Christian, African Christian there, they are dying. He never sent plane. He had Prophet John. He never sent it. He never ordered plane to go there. He never sent car. He never sent train to go there. And you so-called Christian were there fighting and you die. But today, Daniel Trump is saying he want to come and save the shithole Christian in Nigeria. Yeah, that's how Donald Trump call you shithole. And you fall for it. You think they are coming to save shithole. Let's read. Now, the United States launched a numerous strike against the Islamic State in northern Nigeria. President Trump announced on Thursday the latest American military campaign against a non-state adversary, in this case, Islamic Jihadi, who the president assets have been slaughtering Christians. So they went to northern Nigeria. They did not fight terrorists. According to them, they bombed northern Nigeria, where Muslims are, where Islamic are. They want to bomb the place. Let's read further. I'm not going to read the whole thing. We have a lot to discuss. Let me see here. Mr. Trump said in a post on True Social that the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorists, scum in northern Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. But the United States have been existing, according to what it said here. People have been dying there. Christians have been dying there for centuries. I didn't write this. I'm just reading what it wrote. Understand something here. The United States government have been seeing Christians die for centuries. You so-called Christian in Nigeria. You see this. You so-called Christian in Africa that believe that they are coming to save Christians. According to them, century. Not last year, not 2 years ago, not 3 years ago, not 4 years ago. According to the century, is IES. IES. So they've been seeing it. But they have now been talking. They've been silent. Because at that time, the American interest was not yet tampered with on the African continent or in Nigeria. But after they believe that American interests have been tampered with, or Western interests have been tampered with, now they see that Christians are dying. During Buhari time, to remove Jonathan Goodluck, it was the Muslim that came, and they saw it that they want to save Muslim. Henceforth, they sponsor propaganda. They removed Jonathan Goodluck in saving Muslim. And when the Muslim government came, Buhari, when he came in, he turned over the Nigerian military service to the Western world. It was a contrast. Go into your research. That is why the Nigerian government couldn't fight Boko Haram. They always say you have to negotiate with the terrorists. You have to negotiate with Boko Haram because it was made to be. It was made to be. And that is why the Nigerian government couldn't do nothing but to listen to the United States government, because at the same time, according to Scott Perry, a USAID, a subdivision of the United States government, was funding terrorists, Boko Haram, ISIS, and Al-Qaeda, according to a United States Congressman, Scott Perry. And because the Nigerian armed services, it is not owned by the Nigerian state, it is owned by Osada. Go into your research. It was given to them. It was a contract signed by Buhari. So you couldn't do nothing. So they told you to negotiate with the terrorists. At the same time, they were funding the terrorists. Let's continue here. Let's read something here. Let's continue here. It's something I want to read here. Now, I told you, this is something that is going to continue. It's not going to stop. The same way you see the Middle East, this is what's going to go on the African continent. Because African people fail to unite, to fight for themselves. Listen to this. U.S. Africa Command is working with our Nigerians and regional partners to increase counter-terrorism. This is not going to end. It's something that's going to continue. The only way this thing will end is Africa unite with the AES and fight together. Because there will be no place that terrorists will go and sit. Did you see when the West of France wanted to get information from Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso? Because they are not stationary there. They are not getting information, no satellite. What happened? They used the Nigerian government and they went to the Burkinabe airspace in order to get data on Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And that's how the Nigerian Air Force was brought down. But because you continue to have American bases, European bases in those places, they are there with their satellite and mapping you and funding and sponsoring terrorists, according to Scott Perry. So that is what they say. This is an ongoing thing. Terrorism is an ongoing activity. The bombing in Nigeria is going to continue because they will continue to fund terrorists. And then come to you and say, we want to help you fight terrorists. First of all, let's say this. On the African continent, we are not making weapons. We are not making these weapons that the terrorists have. The cars, the vehicles that the terrorists have, Africa not making them. So why these terrorists have these sophisticated weapons and vehicles? Because these foreign organizations come in to the port, to the airline, and we allow them to go freely. And they carry these weapons and give it to the terrorists, according to Scott Perry, the USAID. Once upon a time, according to the Nigerian military, the Melecine Sans Frontier was funding Boko Haram with medical equipment and treating them. That was 2013, 2012, 2013. The Nigerian Armed Forces gave that report. So how dumb and stupid we Africans will sit down and think these people will come and fight for us when they are the ones using their money, their taxpayer, their finances, and sponsoring these people. And then you think they will come and fight for us. Are you serious? That is why they were in Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso. They couldn't fight. And since they took them out, those nations are succeeding. Because there is no way for the French military to give ammunition to Boko Haram when they were there. When African was there. No way. No way for them to fly with their plane, with their cars, because nobody checked these guys. Nobody checked their how they call it, plane or helicopter, whatsoever they carry. Nobody checked it. And they carried this equipment and gave it to the terrorists. Nobody checked it. But since they left, see what is happening. Africa, the solution to this, it is not by inviting the United States or Europe. The youngest populated continent on planet Earth, it is the African continent. But we remain dumb and stupid. We don't want to empower the African youth in every other ways. We do not need another people to come and fight for us. You have the youth to train them in every capacity. What technology? You have the youth. Military, you have the youth that are waiting to fight for the African continent. But the reason why they are escaping the African continent is because you fail to provide the necessary needs. It take an American general. We're going to read it here. It take an American general, a Congress, how they call it, an African general, to state the real reasons why these terrorist activities are happening on the African continent. Let's continue here. Let's read. So, according to African, it's not going to stop. It is something that is ongoing. So you Christians that are there, oh, Christians are dying, oh, US coming for. No, according to them, this is going to be an ongoing thing. So that means you're going to continue dying because you force solution to the wrong place. Listen to what the America, Washington, D.C. is fighting for in Africa or in Nigeria. Listen to this. Some of you said it was about Christian, but listen to what the African, this is African, listen to what he said. Let me read. U.S. Africa Command is working with our Nigerian and regional partner to increase counter-terrorism cooperation effort related to ongoing. It's not going to stop. Look, it will keep going. This generation will die, and another generation come. They see we're in the Middle East. How they are destabilized the place for the people resources. That's not going to go on the African continent. But let's read. Effort related to ongoing violence and threat against innocent life. Listen to this. General Darvin Anderson, the commander of U.S. Africa Command, listen to this, said, listen to what he said. So your stupid African people sitting out there, stupid Christian religion that was given to you to manipulate and go again. Listen to what this African commander said. Listen to this. According to General Darvin Anderson, the commander of the U.S. Africa Command, listen to what he said in a statement, our goal, listen to this, folks, our goal is to protect, oh my God, our goal. So it is now, let me read. So they keep bringing it back. Our goal is to protect American. Our goal is to protect American. Where in our sentence did you see Christian? Where in our sentence did you see Nigerian? Our goal is to protect Americans and disrupt violent extremists. Our goal is to protect Americans and disrupt violent extremist organization everywhere they are. You hear that? Everywhere they are. Everywhere they are. You will be an extremist. You will be violent. They will call you an extremist. You remember they call Malcolm X an extremist. You remember Malcolm X was referred to as an extremist. But was Malcolm X an extremist? Look, what this general said here is deeper. AES are also an extremist against American interest. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are viewed as extremists. Imagine Malcolm X was fighting for his people. Malcolm X was fighting for the unification of his people. When he went to the African continent and then came back and decided to form an organization to collaborate to unite both African in the diaspora and African on the African continent. And he began to educate them here about the African people back home. Unity. And they call him an extremist. You are an extremist and you are fighting for African interests and African freedom, African empowerment. You will be viewed as an extremist if you want to be independent and not be dependent on the US or Europe. You will be viewed as extremist. If you do not want World Bank money, loan that come with strings attached, IMF loan, you will be viewed as extremist. This is deeper what this man said here. This is also going to the AES nation. Don't be surprised tomorrow. Nigeria is going to be used as a focal point. What is independent? I remind you again. Because very soon you're going to be celebrating Nigeria independence, so-called independence. Very soon you're going to be celebrating some African nation independence, so-called independence. But ask yourself, what is independent? When you are still dependent on people and then you call yourself independent, no, call it dependent, not independent. Because what this general said here is deeper. Our goal is to protect American and disrupt violent extremist organizations where they are. Where they are. I thought this was about Christian. I thought the American general was supposed to say our goal is to protect Christian, Nigerian Christian. I thought that's what he was supposed to say. But folks, do you see? This is not about Christian. The attack occurred in a region along the border with Niger. The attack occurred along the border with Niger, where a branch of ISIS called Islamic State Shahid has been attacking both government forces and civilians. What's going to happen here is the United States government in the future will be bumping Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, destroying their infrastructure, and then say we were bumping ISIS or militant group. That is what's going to go on here. And that is why Nigeria is no longer a superpower. Nigeria is a failure, a shame to the African continent. We once saw you as Africa Hope, but no longer we see you as Africa Hope. We once saw you as Africa Pride, but no longer do we see you as Africa Pride. We once saw you as the giant of Africa, but no longer we see you as the giant of Africa. Sorry to say this, my brothers and sisters in Nigeria. No hard feeling. But it is about time we speak the truth to each other and stop pretending. An insurgency there in Nigeria has gone on for more than a decade. Listen to this. So why not today? These are the questions Nigeria are not asking. But yesterday was the same Muslim, Buhari, when Jonathan Gula was there, another Christian. Then they said, oh, it was about Muslim was there, Muslim was dead. America went in, run propaganda, they removed the Christian government. Then the Muslim government came in. But today now, the Christian government is going in. Or the Christian, how they call it, candidate, or whosoever, they are going in. because the Muslim government have gone to China. Let's read. Yeah. Let me see here. Maybe we should take this out, but there's something. Let me see. So Trump said, in my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. Will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. Well, the Middle East is okay now. The Middle East is, booming now. There's no terrorists in the Middle East. No, people in the Middle East, they are fine. Development, education, infrastructure is fine. It's okay now. They have destroyed terrorists in the Middle East. Oh my God. Listen to what Trump said here. May God bless our military and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists. And Africans, Nigerians, and you are happy for this. More Nigerians about to die. No, don't say, oh, I'm bad muffin. No, it is the truth. More Nigerians are about to die. They see people falling terrorists. And you think they are coming to fight terrorists. They have just wakened the frustration, the agony of terrorism on the African continent. The same people that are supplying weapons to the Middle East or to UAE heavily, the same US, after Israel, UAE is the second recipient of American support when it comes to arms. And accordingly, they have been alleged. UAE is the one as well supporting insurgency and terrorist activities on the African continent. Even with Sudan today as we speak. The United States once said in 7 years, Sudan have to go down, and today Sudan is down. They said it. Libya have to go down. Today Libya is down. They said it. It is the same people today you think are coming to fight for you. African people are so dumb and stupid. Trump said, God bless our military. He didn't say God bless the Christian, because if indeed he's fighting for black Christian, why can't he say God bless our Christian brothers and sisters in Nigeria? We are fighting for them. But he said God bless our military. Do you know why? In the same few weeks before the bombing, there was terrorist attack somewhere else, and 2 army personnel along with others were killed. And in retaliation, the United States military or government started to bomb areas around the world. That's why the U.S. Africa Command General said their goal is to protect Americans and destroy extremists, violent extremists everywhere. You listen to that? And here Trump is saying, God bless our military. He didn't say, God bless our Christian brothers and sisters in Nigeria that we are fighting for. And then he said, Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists. Why Trump couldn't say, God bless the Christian in Nigeria that we went and bombed the terrorists. Merry Christmas to our brothers and sisters in Nigeria. No, he didn't say that. But he said, God bless our military and Merry Christmas and to all, and including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many. Listen to this. There will be many or more if their slaughter of Christians continue. So you see the metaphor they brought in here to confuse you. After he said, God bless our military and Merry Christmas to all, he never said, God bless the Christian, the Nigerian Christian that we went in Nigeria to fight for, to bomb for. God bless them and Merry Christmas to them. But he came into confusion and said, and more if slaughter of Christians continue. What slaughter of Christians will have to do with God bless our military? You see, there was a code that was spoken here. But let's take this out. Number one, Nigerian, you have seen it is not about so-called Christian in Nigeria, right? That's number one. It was not about so-called Christian in Nigeria that they went to bomb or they went to kill for. No. No. Not that. Let me take this out. Let me take this out. Let's see another one here. Let's go to CNN. That was New York Times. Let's go to CNN. Trump say violence in Nigeria target Christian. The reality is more. You see here? Yeah. Nigerian, Africans. Trump say violence in Nigeria target Christian. But CNN is telling us the reality is more. There is more to that. There is more the American government is not telling you. Let's read. Let's read. After months of warning that the U.S. could take military action to stop violence against Christians in Nigeria, President Donald Trump announced on Christmas Day that he had done just that, delivering a strike on Islamic State terrorists in the country northwest. What they're going to happen here is Nigeria. All the northwest, all the northwestern nations or state, not nation, but state or territory, will now be coming to where the Christians are. And they're going to be killing you too. They're going to be killing Christians. You guys are playing with fire. You don't know what's coming. That is why Buhari sold the armed services that are supposed to protect you to the West. Buhari, go and do your research. Buhari signed a contract. Go do your research. You don't have army. You don't. U.S. Africa Command said it conducted a strike in Sokoto State, which bordered Niger to the north. Which border Niger to the north. Which border Niger to the north. In coordination with Nigerian authority, African initial assessment. African initial assessment is that multiple ISIS terrorists were killed in an ISIS camp, according to a news release. Now, Nigeria does not have military to fight for her nation. Nigeria does not have army to fight for Nigeria. You see the stupidity of allowing foreign nations to come and fight for you? You see that stupidity of African people? And at the same time, when these foreign nations are the people funding terrorists, according to Scott Perry, a U.S. congressman, these people are the same people funding the terrorists, the Boko Haram, the Al Qaeda, according to Scott Perry, a U.S. congressman. He stated. And then the same people come and fight for you. Are you stupid? Are you dumb? Are you insane? Are you hallucinating? Very delusional for us to think the same people funding terrorists, the same people will come and fight for us and defeat terrorists and eliminate terrorists and make Africa free, that we will live free. When these same people creating a chaos, and the chaos they create are for you to remain in perpetual condition as you are, so that they can continue to loot your resources. They want you to wake up every day not to be innovative. They want you to wake up every day. The only thing you should think about is how you're surviving and how to get food for that day to eat. Not to think about how you can improve your economy, how you can improve your technology, how you can improve your human capacity development. They don't want you to think about, you know what, how we can get to the next stage. They feel it is an insult. What Mali and Niger, Burkina Faso did to them, they feel it is an insult. For these people to say we do not want IMF or World Bank loan, they feel it is an insult. For these people to continue to develop without IMF being involved or World Bank being involved, they feel it is an insult. For these people to carry on development at the same time making education from kindergarten to university free, using their own resources, they feel it is an insult. For Mali to have her own reserve gold in her country, they feel it is an insult. If that gold reserve is not in France or US or UK, they feel it is an insult. For Niger to have her own uranium reserve in Niger, they feel it is an insult. If that reserve is not in France, it's not in US, it's not in Europe. Just how they looted the Liberian iron ore, and today the United States have reserve of that iron ore in the US. They feel it is an insult because in 1884 Berlin Conference, at a closing statement, they said their descendant, European descendant, will make sure Africa and her descendant, we today, will never survive, will never rise. Because if we rise, it will be a defeat and failure to their descendant. So that is why it is an insult if they see Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso rise and other nations follow. It will be an insult and a failure to the promises their forefathers made in 1884 Berlin Conference. 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 1884 Berlin Confer We just need to do little more research. But the truth are there. So when you see Europe or you see America behaving like this, no, they are behaving like that because that is how they survive. And it is because of our stupidity they are surviving. It is because of our stupidity and our disunity among us. We've been so naive, dumb, and stupid. Thinking that the Jesus that enslaved you and colonized you yesterday, that same Jesus will come and save you. Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Something remind me. That's remind me. Hold on a minute. Let me see here. I'll bring out a video, but let me see. I got a video to play for you. Let me see what I want here if I find it. If I find it. Hold on. Let me see something here. Let me see something here. Quick. And I'll play a video. Hopefully I found it. I found what I want here. Hold on. Okay. Before I can play that video, right? Nigeria, we keep telling you, the only way to defeat ISIS, and Abraham Traore said this, I for Nigeria, Ghana, Mali, Liberia, Sierra Leone, I mean including the 54 or whatsoever 55 states, to unite and have a one military force, like how the AES have done it. That's the only way you can defeat Boko Haram. And that's the only way you can defeat the West. To stop sponsoring Boko Haram or ISIS. That's the only way you can defeat them. But see what it said here. According to an African commander, see what he said. The United States strike could disrupt ISIS operation in the short term. Oh, you Christians that are jumping on, you are stupid. Yes, very stupid. Donald Trump said you are stupid. Donald Trump said you are shithole to believe that one strike it finishes off the problem. But listen what this man is saying. The U.S. strike could disrupt ISIS operation in the short term. But the long-term issues, ES, that surround violence, what that mean? Understand this. What that mean is Nigerians who have agreed to become Boko Haram, Africans who have agreed to become terrorists, Nigerians who have agreed to become ISIS. Listen to them. He said, there is something somewhere. But the long-term issues that surround violence, first of all, you have to understand why Boko Haram, why people will allow foreigners to come, give them ammunition, support them to go against Nigerians, to go against their own people. This is what he's trying to explain here. Why would that happen? But the long-term issue that surround the violence in Nigeria are extremely complex. Say CNN military analyst and a retired U.S. Air Force. So that means this man, even he has served in Africa on African for several years, for several decades, since Africa was founded and enforced by Barack Obama. Listen to what he said. Ah, God. So that means he has studied everything in Nigeria. The reason why USAID will just go and sponsor terrorists, the reason why USAID will just go and sponsor Boko Haram, according to Scott Perry, now according to this retired U.S. Air Force Marine or colonial, right? According to him, the issue is complex. So it's not just about going to bomb, then you say you're fighting for Christian. It's complex. Now, he said, let me read. The U.S. threat could disrupt ISIS operation in short term, but the long-term issue that surrounds violence in Nigeria are extremely complex, says CNN military analyst and a retired U.S. Air Force colonial cadre Lenton, pointing out that the economic factors at play, pointing out the economic factors at play. These economic factors could be no education, no job, or people go, they learn, get a degree, and then come back, nothing in the country, inequality, government taking huge pay, millions of dollars, and not improving, resources being taken out of the country, one of the richest nations in the world in terms of oil, but as soon as you can see no infrastructure, a lot going on here. So these people are frustrated. So it is easy for people to come in to manipulate them to do something. Oh God. So you see, so he's actually telling you, Christians, so-called Christians that are jumping and running all around, this man is telling you that is not to it. That is not a solution. And that is not going to solve the problem. The problem of Nigeria, people being into Boko Haram, ISIS, and Al Qaeda is complex. And he's telling you it's economic factors. It has to deal with economic factors. The human capacity development as well, it has to do with that. Opportunity are not being provided by this so-called government. All they do is to come take pictures with Western government. But let me play you something here. For those of you that think the West are coming to fight for Christian. Let me play you something here. Christian, my foot, you will die. Continue to believe that. Stupidity. You see, the video you're about to see, this is what they see in Europe and America when they went to Africa to give it Christianity. Oh, Africans, man. I mean, interesting people. Nonsense.
In their hands and gold in their eyes. For centuries, Europe called it. They came with a cross in their hands and gold in their eyes. For centuries, Europe called it evangelization. In reality, it was the largest spiritual looting operation in history. In the mid-15th century, while Portugal explored the African coast, European monarchs received what they claimed was divine authorization, a papal decree known as Romanus Pontifex, issued by Pope Nicholas V. This document declared that any non-Christian land could be conquered in the name of God, and that its inhabitants could be enslaved indefinitely. This This was the beginning of the so-called Holy War against Africa. Missionaries arrived before armies. They preached love while branding souls. They baptized with one hand and with the other handed maps to conquerors. Every converted village became an open mine. Every convert became a number in the records of the Atlantic slave trade. Ancient kingdoms such as Benin, Congo, and Dahomey were destroyed from within. Kings who resisted were labeled idolaters. Those who submitted were given crucifixes plated with gold stolen from their own land. In 1493, Pope Alexander VI issued the bull Inter Caetera, the document that divided the world between Spain and Portugal for the glory of God. Africa was not conquered by soldiers alone. It was conquered by sermons. Catholic missions spread across the Congo, Angola, Sudan, and Ethiopia, each one accompanied by merchants, slave traders, and royal companies. Missionaries claimed to save souls, while ships waiting on the coast filled with chained bodies. When Africa was carved up during the Berlin Conference of 1884, borders were drawn with straight lines across entire peoples, and churches blessed every new frontier. A religion that promised salvation became the most effective weapon of colonialism, because before destroying a kingdom, its spirit had to be destroyed first, and it was. Today, in European and American museums, African gold shines beneath stained glass, shaped like crosses. Faith was exported, memory was erased. They came with a cross in their hands and gold in their eyes. If it shocks you how power used faith to erase entire civilizations, follow for more stories the official history never wanted you.
So do you see that? When they brought the Bible, when they brought the cross, was it for salvation? Was it for humanity? Was it for the human race? Was it for unity? Was it for your benefit? Was it for you? Or was it for them? Let's continue. That is clear. What is said in that video, I cannot say more. If you didn't get it, then you will not get it. If you think America, if you think the West, they are coming to fight for you. Oh my God. I laugh. Keep fast and pray. Go and fast and pray. Stupidity. Stupidness.
Alliance is the reason why they're going after Nigeria. If you haven't heard, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali have all teamed up together to create the Sahel Alliance. 2 days ago, they held a summit, and what they weren't expecting was the amount of turnout from young Africans. During that summit, they announced that they want to create a railway between their three nations, also a new airline, and also a new central bank. And they already collected $1 billion. They've done all that with zero help from any foreign lenders. They've also allowed for their people to move freely between those countries without needing a visa, which has opened up free trade between those three nations. Basically, what they are starting to create is the United States of Africa. And guess who sits on top of Niger? Nigeria. They are trying to destabilize it before it turns into the United States of Africa because they see what they are doing. The Sahel.
Trump needs to get into northern Nigeria, Art, so they can invade and try to overthrow. So the reason Donald Trump needs to get into northern Nigeria, Art, so they can invade and try to overthrow President Chiani in Niger so they can get control of the uranium. Are you with me so far?
I follow you.
Not only does Niger have uranium, they have gold and other resources. And then next to Niger, you have who? Mali. Mali has gold, Mali has copper, Mali has zinc, and unlimited natural resources. And then Burkina Faso is only a hop, skip, and a jump from northern Nigeria. And you know they want to get rid of Ibrahim Traore. And we pray to God and the ancestors that never happens. But they want to get rid of Ibrahim Traore because he's the leader. And what does Burkina Faso have a whole lot of? Gold, Art. Donald Trump wants to geopolitically and strategically put the U.S. military in northern Nigeria so they have easy access to invade Niger right above, Mali right above to the left, and Burkina Faso right above even further to the left. Do you see that?
Right, I see.
This is about overthrowing independent African states, Art. Donald Trump don't give a damn about no black Christians in Nigeria. So the reason Donald Trump needs to get into northern Nigeria, Art, so they can invade and try to overthrow President Chiani in Niger so they can get control of the uranium. Are you with me so far?
I follow you.
Not only does Niger have uranium, they have gold and other resources. And then next to Niger, you have who? Mali. Mali has gold, Mali has copper, Mali has zinc, and unlimited natural resources. And then Burkina Faso is only a hop, skip, and a jump from northern Nigeria. And you know they want to get rid of Ibrahim Traore. And we pray to God and the ancestors that never happens, but they want to get rid of Ibrahim Traore.
All right, we're going to come to that video. Let's read the last article here. So the point here is this is not about fighting for African in Nigeria or fighting for Christian or Christianity. It is not about you. Never will it be. It have never been and never will it be. Don't get it twisted. We are just being youngs. Because tomorrow, when a Christian government come in Nigeria, and if it happens that the Christian government is not going, it's not trying to go contrary to the U.S. interest, then the Muslim will go again to the U.S. The same way Buhari did it when the Christian government, Jonathan Gula, was in power. And Buhari came to Washington, D.C. and they run propaganda and removed Jonathan Gulak. Then the Muslim came in. Today, it is the Muslim, that's the Christian, that are going to the U.S. now because the Muslim have gone to China. And Christian people from the West went into Nigeria because, let me use the word. Maybe, let me use that word. Maybe, let me use the word, okay? Maybe people in the West went to Nigeria. They were sent maybe by the CIA or FBI or by the Zionists to go to Nigeria to tell the Christian, let's use this meat, and they brought some of those bishops. Christians are dying because the narrative have to be created with the support of Nigerian or some Nigerian Christian, which is working. It worked with the Muslim at that time, and they removed a Christian government. And today, the Muslim government is there. Now they are going through the Christian. That, Islam is killing Christian. Islam is bombing Christian. Only because the Jonathan Goulart government was taking a path, a new path to disengage from the entanglement of neocolonialism. And then, when the Muslims went in, Washington, D.C. saw it necessary then, okay, we can use this. That's the same thing they did in Liberia. When Ellen Johnson Sirleaf went to them, when the political elite, the slaves, went to them, when they saw that their interest in Liberia was dimming, the solution was to destabilize the country, to carry war. And now war was finalized. Liberia don't know it. And they will say that, oh, there was a civil war, it was this, it was this. The war in Liberia was finalized in Namibia with religious balling from Liberia. That is why I despise, like, I don't like them. When I talk about, oh, the religious body in Liberia, this, that, and I keep saying this. The day I get political power in Liberia, let's stop there. But it was finalized in Namibia. I think Namibia, yes, Namibia. Religious balling was in Liberia. The United Nations, the so-called, oh God, Liberia, do your research. They were in Namibia. AU was in Namibia. That is why the United States ECOWAS was there. The United States told ECOWAS and AU never to step in Liberia for peacekeeping until like America is ready. Oh God, you guys don't understand, man. You guys don't know, man. You guys don't know. Go and do research. The United States told AU and ECOWAS never to step in Liberia for peacekeeping mission. They will only go there at the demand or command of the United States. When the United States is ready for peace to go in Liberia, UN will go there. And it will tell ECOWAS or AU to go in. Nigeria, be careful. Be careful, Nigeria. Be careful. Now, here's the last article to read. So those of you that think the United States or Trump is in Nigeria to fight for Christian, you damn lie. What is behind Trump Christmas Day strike in Nigeria? This is USA Today, all right? This article is from USA Today. What is behind Trump Christmas Day airstrike in Nigeria? What is behind it? Let's continue. No one should tell you the Nigerian government was in collaboration of what went on in Nigeria. That's damn lie. Collaboration is not where you threaten someone. Collaboration should be willing, someone willingness to collaborate with you. Someone should be willing to do something. Someone should be willing to collaborate. You cannot force someone, you say collaborating. That's the same thing they did in Liberia. In 1822, they went and put the kings and the queens on a gunpoint. And then they said they went and saw the king, King Zola Duma, gave them land, sold land to them, and then they got a land to settle XYZ, that when Robert Stock put King Zola Duma on a gunpoint because the first delegate when the kings did not agree. That delegate came back to Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. sent another delegate. The king said, no, we are not selling land. You brought our people, leave them and go. We will reintegrate them. But because they went with another motive to have a colony, because at that time, even though Africa was not yet divided, We're talking about 1822, and Africa was divided 1884. Africa was already divided before 1884. But 1884 was just a time set for them to meet in Berlin, Germany, to draw demarcation and say, France, this place is for England, don't come here again. England, this place is for France, don't come here again. France, this place is for the US, don't come here. US, this place is, don't come here. Because before 1884 Berlin Conference, the United States and France and UK, they were fighting over territory. Oh my God. Research is very good. Before 1884, in fact, that was the reason the 1884 issue came. Because France, the US, and Great Britain, they were fighting. Because there was no demarcation. France was coming down to Liberia, extracting resources and getting stuff. And the US said, this is our territory. Sierra Leone, Great Britain was coming in. And Ivory Coast, France was also coming. Are you getting me? And they were fighting. In fact, before 1884, we're talking about 1822, 1823, 24, 25. The United States was traveling along the sea coast using microphone. This is United States territory. Who were they telling this to? Were they telling that to the free slave that was taken to Africa at that time? It was not Africa, but at that time, right? Equivalent. The Garden of Eden. That's the name of Africa. So are you telling me the free slave they took from here, in fact, they were not free. They called them rebellious slave. Go and do your research again. That's a Google term because the colonizer have to look good. So they have to say, we were freeing these people. But who was the United States Marine Navy using microphone for? This is United States territory. Oh, I thought it was a place that was founded to carry free slaves. Now it was a United States territory. Go do your research. Were they telling this to the native that was on the land? Were they telling this to the free slave? Let's just put it this way, that they took there. This is United States territory. No one should come to the United States territory. No, they were telling the French. They were telling the English that was coming on the territory. So the third delegate Washington D.C. sent was a retired U.S. Navy, Robert Stockton. And when Robert Stockton went, he made 2 or 3 attempts to King Zola Duma. And King Zola Duma said, no one owns land in Africa. No one owns land. The lands are owned by the kings and the queens. And if the people want to farm, all they need to do is go to the kings or the queens and then say they want to farm here that year. No one owns land. The land was owned by the kingdom because at that time it was kingdom. Every trust was kingdom. So the land was owned by the kingdom, by the people. Socialism, communalism. That's how it was practiced. So King Zola Duma told Robert Stockton there have been 2 delegates that have come from whatsoever the white man land, and we sent them back. We said, no, you the tell. What Robert Stockton did, put the king on a gunpoint and says, I will kill you if we don't have the land. That was how they acquired the land. But the lion said the king sold their land, and then they gave gunpowder, they gave this, they gave nonsense. But let's continue here. That's just brief history. You have to understand the lies of the West, or else they will continue to lie to you forever. Let's continue here. So what is behind the strike? This is USA Today. What is behind Trump Christmas Day airstrike in Nigeria? Let's read. Nigerian Christian in Nigeria looking for savior. The United States launched airstrike in Nigeria against Islamic State militant on Christmas Day after President Donald Trump threat in November to go into the country gun blazing over what he called a mass slaughter of Christians. Again, that's the narrative they're preaching. But whenever the West bring a narrative to you, that is not what exactly they are fighting for. There is something they are fighting for that you don't know. What they are fighting for, it is not your interest. It is actually against your interest. Let's read. Our Trump and War Secretary Pete Hegseth direction and in coordination with Nigerian authority, the U.S. military struck ISIS terrorists in the country northwest according to the U.S. African Command. Let's read further. And it said it was collaboration with the United States government and the Nigerian government, right? Let's read. Let's read. Trump said on Thursday, let's say on Truth Social, that he ordered the military to launch a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorists scum in northwest Nigeria who have been targeting and visually killing primarily innocent Christians. That sounds good, right? Let's continue. Let's continue. The military executed numerous perfect strikes, he said. Hegseth wrote in an X post that there will be more to come. There will be more to come. Nigeria is already a ground like the Middle East. Nigeria is already a ground, a nation, a state, a territory, a de facto country like the Middle East for the United States. More to come. Did you see that? It's not about Christian folks. Sit down dead and be dreaming. They are coming to fight for you. Christianity have always been used to dehumanize African people. Sorry to say that some of you that deeply believe in it. It is the truth. It is the truth. No one can give you a God. No human being on planet Earth should give you a God to believe in. No one. Anybody gave you a God to believe in, it is a false God. It is a false God. If your gods are not in existence, of your ancestral belief, it is not a God. That is why the God that they imported, the foreign God that they imported, go into your research. All the foreign gods that they imported on the African continent have, in fact, it was those gods that colonized you. It was those gods that enslaved you. And it is those gods today that is still having you in captivity. Any God that have you in captivity, it is not a God to serve. Let's read. The operation marked the first time the United States has launched deadly strike in Nigeria as part of its effort to combat ISIS. The same people that sponsor terrorists, the same people that sponsor ISIS, according to Scott Perry, a U.S. congressman. Let's continue. Now, You remember from previous articles that we read, and the United States African Command General said their goal is to protect Americans. After they strike Nigeria, he said their goal is to protect Americans and to disrupt any violent extremists anywhere. Listen to this. This was one of the reasons they struck in Nigeria. Listen to this. The United States struck ISIS target in Syria on December 19. After a gunman, listen to this, after a gunman with suspected tie to the terrorist group that shot and killed 2 U.S. soldiers stationed in the country and other interpreter, because they have interpreter who speak the language there that they will speak to the people, then they interpret it in English. So now go back to the article that I read when the African commander said their goal is to protect Americans and to disrupt violent extremists everywhere. Their goal is to protect Americans and to disrupt violent extremists anywhere. It is not about you damn so-called Christian in Nigeria that Donald Trump called shithole. Let's read this. The United States struck ISIS target in Syria December 19 after a gunman with suspected tie to the terrorists, because their goal is to disrupt any violent extremist. That is why when Donald Trump, after they struck Nigeria, what Donald Trump said? God bless our military. He never said God bless the Christian that we went to fight for. He said, God bless our military and Merry Christmas. Yeah. You think it was about you, Christian? Don't go to your government and ask them to do the right thing and ask them to collaborate with the AES to unite and have a stronger force. Be daydreaming. Be daydreaming. The same people sponsoring terrorists, giving ammunition to terrorists, giving their finance and their taxpayer money to terrorists, according to Scott Perry. There's the same people that are coming to fight terrorists for your survival. Stupidity. The United States struck ISIS target in Syria December 19 after a gunman suspected tie to the terrorist group shot and killed 2 U.S. soldiers stationed in the country and their interpreter. In retaliation, they struck a terrorist target in Nigeria. It was not about you. And they said more to come. It is not about you, folks. It was never about you, and it will never be about you. You are nothing. The people see you as a spittle onto the ground. You are nothing. It is not about you. So don't get it twisted. So let's read further down. Let's see here. Why, first of all, they said Nigeria was in collaboration. Let's see something here. Hopefully I see it. Hopefully I see it. Hopefully I see it. Let me see. If I don't, then that's it. But I will just say, why. And it's something I want to show here, folks. All right. Let me read here. This is what Trump said. Right? Now, it started from above, but I'm just going to read here because we're running out of time. The next day, Trump, threatened on through social that the United States would cut off aid. Listen to this. This is how the Nigerian government came in. After the Nigerian government have been threatened. This is why I said there's no independent state in Africa. Unless the AES nation, and there may be Namibia that is being run by this current female president. Maybe. Right? But there's no independent nation in Africa. No independent nation. They are all territory. They are all de facto. They are all how they call it, independent nation. You see it? So this is not negotiation. The next day, Trump threatening on through social that the United States could or would cut off aid to Nigeria and could go into that now. And then he called Nigeria disgraced country. Disgraced country. You know what they say, disgraced country? I mean, the people of Nigeria are disgraced, are a disgrace, because a country can never exist without a people. A people make a country, or else it will just be a desert, or else it will just be a land, a bush, a forest. You cannot call a forest a disgraced country. You cannot call a desert a disgraced country. People make the country. Without people, there is no society. Because people make society that come with belief, with norms, way of life, behavior. So when Trump said disgrace, the same way he referred to you Christian as shithole, that's the same way again he's calling you Christian as disgrace. You think it is about you? So President Trump threatened Nigeria to cut aid from Nigeria if Nigeria did not allow Donald Trump or the United States government to throw a bomb in Nigeria. Nigeria government agreed to come in. That is not collaboration. After they say you are a disgrace, that is not collaboration. After they shame you, that is not collaboration. After they say we will cut aid, we will not give you aid, we will not give you support, you are not independent, that is not collaboration. Yeah, Christian. Anyway, let's take this out. I'm telling you, King. I'm telling you, King. There's no independent nation in Africa. No independent. That is why I'm not really excited. I don't get excited when these days come. Oh, independent. Oh, happy independent, happy days. It's bullshit. It never moved me. You have to understand what independent is before you can celebrate independent kings. That's the truth. Exactly what you said. It's true.
So you got all of these genocides of black people going on around the world. Christians, as they want to say, being murdered, but Donald Trump don't see them. He only sees the one in Nigeria. And let me tell you why, Art. I know you're familiar with Ibrahim Traoré and the Sahel Alliance. Ibrahim Traoré is the president of Burkina Faso. You also have the president of Niger, Chiani, and you have General Goita of Mali, right?
Right.
The real reason, Art, and I need you to get this, the real reason Donald Trump wants to invade northern Nigeria, Art, has nothing to do with Black Christians. Nothing to do with my Christian brothers and sisters in the north. Northern Nigeria sits under what country, Art? Northern Nigeria sits right under Niger, one of the 3 countries in the Sahel Alliance. Nigeria borders Niger. And why is Niger so important, Art? Who is the number 1 supplier of uranium in the world? Niger. Do you know what you need uranium for, Art? Nuclear missiles, nuclear bombs, nuclear technology, nuclear warheads. Niger is the number 1 supplier of uranium. And in the nuclear age, Art, uranium is the vibranium of Black Panther. In the nuclear age, uranium is the vibranium that they talked about in the Black Panther movie. So the reason Donald Trump needs to get into northern Nigeria, Art, so they can invade and try to overthrow President Chiani in Niger so they can get control of the uranium. Are you with me so far?
I follow you.
Not only does Niger have uranium, they have gold and other resources. And then next to Niger, you have who? Mali. Mali has gold, Mali has copper, Mali has zinc, and unlimited natural resources. And then Burkina Faso is only a hop, skip, and a jump from northern Nigeria. And you know they want to get rid of Ibrahim Traoré, and we pray to God and the ancestors that never happens, but they want to get rid of Ibrahim Traoré because he's the leader. And what does Burkina Faso have a whole lot of? Gold, Art. Donald Trump wants to geopolitically and strategically put the U.S. military in northern Nigeria so they have easy access to invade Niger right above, Mali right above to the left, and Burkina Faso right above even further to the left. Do you see that?
Right. I see.
This is about overthrowing independent African states, Art. Donald Trump don't give a damn about no Black Christians in Nigeria. He don't care about the ones here. So for my...
Yeah, excuse me, brothers and sisters, please allow me to pause a little bit. There's something that I wish to share with you from what Dr. Umar Fatunde has said. Then we'll continue with Dr. Umar. I want all of us to reflect and connecting dots. Let us, all of us, go back 2 years ago when President Chiani of Niger took power. He closed U.S. drone base. And the U.S. since then is not happy with Niger. So as Dr. Umar Fatunde said, there's a truth, some truth there, that we may think that maybe U.S. is bombing terrorists in northern Nigeria, but you can find ourselves that at the end of the day, U.S. will station military base there, or U.S. will station troops, that those troops will fight Niger. And the U.S. will say, because in northern Nigeria, it is a border between Nigeria and Niger, don't be wondering. The time will come when U.S. will say, those terrorists have run or flew to Niger. Then U.S. will start bombing Niger by saying they're finding terrorists. But let me take you back. This year, you remember a U.S. General, Mr. Langley, accused Captain Ibrahim Traoré for using gold reserve to protect himself. We have to be vigilant.
Sister Nicki Minaj. For my sister Nicki Minaj to go to the United Nations and give voice to Donald Trump's false flag of caring about Christian Nigerians and Black Africa is a disservice to her race. Nicki Minaj, I want you to reconsider this. Please don't go down the path of Candace Owens, sister. Please recant while you can. But I don't know if she can, Art. She might be in too deep. You done already went to the UN speaking on behalf of Donald Trump's agenda to invade Nigeria so he can overthrow the Sahel Alliance. You done already went to Turning Point USA's AmeriFest conference talking about how Donald Trump makes you feel proud to be an American. Talking about how when Donald Trump and J.D. Vance speak, you know they speaking for us. And then she said, Art, that I don't want any, and I'm paraphrasing, but she said something like, I don't want any white girls with blonde hair and blue eyes to not be proud of themselves. In order for black children to be proud of themselves. I'm not quoting her exactly correct, but she's basically parroting that narrative that teaching corrective history in American schools, teaching black history in American schools, teaching the truth about American slavery in these schools, Art, is going to somehow damage white kids psychologically. Art is standing with Trump, and so therefore Trump is elevating Nicki Minaj to national stature as a payback to the Trinidad and Tobago government. Art, Donald Trump can't get out of this if he wanted to. Whatever the Zionists tell him to do, he will do it. I heard J.D. Vance mention Nicki Minaj by name at least 4 times in his speech that he gave at Turning Point USA's conference in Phoenix on Sunday. He mentioned Nicki Minaj by name at least 4 times. And don't forget, Art, where was Nicki Minaj on November the 18th? On November the 18th, Nicki Minaj was at the United Nations. Art, how does a hip hop artist, no disrespect to my sister, Nicki is an intelligent sister, beautiful family. This ain't personal, this political, Art. But how does a rapper, how does a hip hop artist go from rap to giving speeches at the United Nations? And on November the 18th, Nicki Minaj gave a speech supporting Donald Trump's intervention in northern Nigeria on behalf of the Christians. Let me ask you a question, Art. Since when did Donald Trump start caring about black Christians? He don't care about the black Christians right here in America. What has Donald Trump done about miseducation for black Christians in America? What has Donald Trump done about police brutality against black Christians in America? What has Donald Trump done about homelessness and gentrification against black Christians in America? What has Donald Trump done against economic apartheid waged against black Christians in America? Since when did Donald Trump start giving a damn about black Christians? So let me get this right, Art. You're not doing nothing for the black Christians in America, but you're going to go all the way to northern Nigeria. You're going to go all the way to northern Nigeria and save Nigerian Christians from genocide and abuse. Now, first, Art, let me say this. There is genocide and abuse, some genocide against my northern Nigerian Christian brothers and sisters by Muslims in the northern region that I don't condone. If the international reports are right, you've had 10,000 northern Nigerian Christians who've been massacred over so many of these past years. It's wrong. I don't condone it. And I hope the Nigerian government gets this under control. Northern Nigeria, Art, is mostly Muslim. Southern Nigeria is mostly Christian. So the Muslims who are living, the Christians who are living in Muslim-dominated northern Nigeria, they're the ones who are being harmed. But guess what, Art? This was going on when Donald Trump was president the first time. If this was going on when Donald Trump was president the first time, why didn't he do something about it then? Because he's not threatening military invasion in Nigeria because he cares about Christians. Because if that were the case, Art, why don't he do something about the South Sudanese who are being genocided right now? Why don't Donald Trump do something about the Sudanese who are being genocided right now? Why is he ignoring the Sudanese genocide, Art? Why is he ignoring the child slaves in the Congo, Art? Since he cares so much about black people, let me tell you why. Donald Trump is ignoring the genocide in Sudan because it's being carried out by Arabs from the United Arab Emirates. The Arabs from the UAE are in the Sudan killing and genociding our black Sudanese brothers and sisters to control the oil and the other natural resources. And here's the kicker, Art. Where does the United Arab Emirates get most of their weapons from? Who is the #1 military supplier of weapons to the Arabs of the UAE? Donald Trump's government.
Wow.
Listen to this, Art. Ain't that crazy? You're talking about you're going to invade Nigeria to protect my Christian brothers and sisters in the north, but you giving weapons to Dubai. You're giving weapons to the Arabs and UAE so they can come into Sudan and genocide black people in the name of natural resources, but you care about the blacks in Nigeria. Give me a break. And what about in the Congo, Art? You got children dying, mass murder, humanitarian crisis, hunger in the Congo, been going on for years. Donald Trump won't do anything about it. You know why? Because they're mining coltan and cobalt for who? Apple computers, and for Elon Musk Tesla cars, and for American military systems. So Donald Trump isn't going to say one word about the Congo because it benefits white capitalism. He's not going to say one word about Sudan because it benefits white capitalism. And don't get me started on Haiti and what America is doing in Haiti. Since you love black Christians so much, what about the black Christians in Haiti? What about all the Haitians whose asylum in America you just canceled out, and you're now hunting them down like animals all across America and sending them back to Haiti? What about them? What about the airstrikes, Art, that America has carried out in Somalia, killing innocent men, women, and children? Many of them are Christian as well, although it's an Islamic country. What about them?
Family, brothers and sisters, this is not about terrorists in northern Nigeria. This is about Sahel. This is about Tinubu allowing US to station troops in northern Nigeria to fight the alliance of Sahel states. Family, brothers and sisters, you will hear, they will tell us terrorists have food to Niger. They will put boot on the ground to fight terrorists in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. They will use that technique to invade these countries. Tinubu has betrayed our struggle. Tinubu is being used by allowing US to drop bombs in northern Nigeria is a tactic, is a technique. At the end of the day, they will tell us those terrorists have food and land to Sahelian region.
Can my dad go from XL to M with walking by
We are at a crossroad. Young people, Africans, we have to raise our voices and condemn President Bola Ahmed Tinubu by allowing US to drop bombs in northern Nigeria. President Tinubu is betraying our struggle. President Tinubu is betraying Africa. I'm telling you the truth, brothers and sisters. You will hear this. They did that in Iraq. They did that in Afghanistan. They did that in Libya. Now they're in Sahel. And we know the reason behind. It's because these countries have taken control of their natural resources. You remember when Abdulrahman Chan, the president of Niger, took power, he closed all foreign military bases, including one of the biggest drone bases of US in Niger. US since then is not happy with Niger. Burkina Faso took control of its natural resources, gold and other resources, the same to Mali. Now they are using Nigeria. They're using these neighboring countries by saying they are fighting terrorists, they are attacking terrorists, but the time will come that they will tell us those terrorists flew to Niger to Burkina Faso. Now we are going to Burkina Faso, we are going to Niger, we are going to Mali to find those terrorists. And that time they will attack these countries. Recently, you witnessed Nigerian plane violated the space of alliance of Sahel states. What did that plane?
All right, folks. That is today's presentation. And I hope it gets to where it's supposed to get. Please share, like, subscribe. And I'm going to, leave a last statement with Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj, you are our sister. We love you. But you allow the imperialists to use you. Look at the situation in Sudan. Since when have you spoken about it? The situation in DRC Congo. Since when have you spoken about it? Why should you be used to carry on Western agenda, to manipulate the mind of our people who are so ignorant that, they want to go fight Christian. We got to save Christian. We got to save this. Why should we go by that narrative? Why should we be going by religion things? We should be going by, Africans are dying, Africans are dead. We should change the narrative. No white man will fight for us. European will not fight for us. Our demise are caused by European. And those that cause our demise will never fight for us. Will never bring solution to us. Why didn't you, Nicki Minaj, have you spoken about the people in Haiti? What they are going through? Have you? The Haitians have cried, have cried, have cried, have cried, have cried. When Donald Trump was deporting Haitians back, Nicki Minaj, why didn't you come out to tell Donald Trump, say your voice is so powerful? Why didn't you go to UN to tell UN, you know what? The people of Haiti, they shouldn't go back. They are already in the US. We cannot see Trump or deporting them back. We don't want it. Why didn't you, Nicki Minaj? Why didn't you speak about it? Why, Nicki Minaj? The people of New Guinea, Papua, Nicki Minaj, you want to talk about, why didn't you speak? Why can't you speak about the people of New Guinea, Papua? That the Australian government are slaughtering and killing them, the original people of the land. Nicki Minaj said you are so powerful. Why didn't you use your influence? Nicki Minaj, there are a lot of stuff going on the African continent. Why can't you use your influence? Nicki Minaj. Say now you have become the voice of the voiceless. We want you to speak for the people of Haiti. We want you to speak for the people of Sudan, the people of Somalia. Nicki Minaj said you are speaking, you are not the voice for the people. The last time we checked, there are Somalians that are being deported. Nicki Minaj said you are so influential. Why can't you speak? Go to the United Nations now and speak for the people of Somalia that are being deported. The crisis in Somalia, the crisis in DRC Congo. We back you, Nicki Minaj. Do it. You can't be supporting Zionist ideology. And then you say you are speaking for Christian. No, it is not about Christian, Nicki Minaj. You were bought. The Zionists sent you there because they saw you as a perfect person to go and speak. Nicki Minaj. If they didn't send you there, now you have taken a bath. If you don't continue, Nicki Minaj, you are in trouble. Nicki Minaj, if you don't continue, we are in trouble, because for every platform we set on to speak about the issues of African people, we will break you down. For every platform we set on to speak about the issue of Black people around the world, we will break you down. So the path you have taken, I don't know if you taught us why. I don't know if you ever put thought into it, but you went and did it because the Zionists sent you there. For every time we speak about Black issue, even in America, we will bring you down because we will mention you, because we want to see your action. Now, at this time, we want to see you to the United Nations attacking every issue affecting Black people around the world, even in the US. What are police brutality? What are injustices? What are the justice system? We want to see you to the United Nations, even to RCC. We want to see you there addressing African issues. Or else, there's going to be your demise. Because for every platform we sit on, we will discuss you. We are sorry. We love you. You are one of our Black queens. But you have allowed yourself to be used by the Zionists. So for everything we discuss pertaining Black people, we will discuss you and we will bring you down. So Nicki Minaj, we want you to discuss the Black people problem. Now you went to the United Nations, good. If you show you did it with good faith, good. But we want you to speak for Haiti. We want you to speak for DRC Congo. Look at what is going on in DRC Congo. We want you to speak. Look at what is going on in Sudan. Please speak. Somalia, please speak. We love you. Don't get it twisted. We will always love you. But we will continue to point you out so you can speak for our interest too now. Because you have spoken for the interest of the Zionists, of those who sent you. Good. Please, as a queen, as a sister, as a family, as a wife, we will always love you. But please, speak for us too. For African people. For Black people around the world. Speak about the issues. Holistically, speak about the issues. Speak about the issues. Now, we love the path you have taken. If only you did it with good faith, if only you did it without Trump sending you, without the Zionists sending you, thank you. If only you did it because you love Christian, you love Nigerian Christian, good. But please, continue the fight. Please, continue the fight. And we will support you. Because every platform we come on, we will continue to call your name to talk about issues affecting Black people. Even in the US, if we're talking about injustices on this platform, we will mention you so that you can talk about it. If we talk about inequality, we will mention you so that you can speak about inequality. Let it not be because you are chosen to speak on certain things and then you spoke about it. Well, if you were never sent to speak about it and Donald Trump, he succeeded. Donald Trump answered your prayer. Donald Trump answered your call. Please, go to the United Nations and ask Donald Trump the same way to carry peace in Haiti so that there will be no war. Let Donald Trump go and bomb the gang. Please, Nicki Minaj, the gang activities in our place, it's the same thing. It's terrorists. The people of Haiti, they need you. So that Donald Trump can go and just bomb where the gangs are. Bomb the place so that Haiti can be free. The next thing we want you to do, go Somalia, right? Go to the UN, talk so that Donald Trump can go to Sudan. The two government, the two leaders that are fighting, let Donald Trump just go and bomb where they are. That will be fine. Because these are the two leaders fighting. So we believe if Donald Trump can go and kill the two leaders, it's finished. That's all we ask for. Sudan. Please, Nicki Minaj, we want you to do that. Our sister, our queen, because you are a mother, our queen mother, our queen sister, our queen wife. You are one of us. Please, we beg you, do that for us. Folks, this is today's presentation. We stop here today because we will keep measuring Nicki Minaj's name for every time we talk about black issue so that she can fight for us. Now we have seen that she's a strong female. We have seen that Donald Trump do listen to her because she spoke and Donald Trump acted. Right? So we believe if she speak, Donald Trump going to listen. If she speak about the issue in Haiti, Donald Trump will listen and Donald Trump will go and liberate the people of Haiti. He will go and fight for the people of Haiti. He will go and bomb again. We believe if you speak for the people of Sudan, Donald Trump will go, the two leaders that are fighting, Donald Trump will go and slaughter them so that the thing will be finished. Nicki Minaj, please, we beg you, do that for us. We love you. Peace, folks.
The white power structure, because that's all we have in America. And the white power structure today is just as much interested in perpetuating slavery as the white power structure was 100 years ago. Only now they use modern methods of doing so. And realizing that the black people in this country are waking up and becoming filled with a desire to be looked upon as men and as human beings. The white power structure to slow down that struggle for freedom and human dignity uses tricks. 100 years ago they could do it with chains. Today they use tricks. And one of the tricks that they've invented is this token integration. To get Negro, so-called Negro leaders to accept a few token crumbs of integration that don't solve any problem for the masses of black people in this country whatsoever, but it does make the hand-picked Negroes be satisfied to slow down the cry of the masses. And a good example of that is as soon as the spirit of rebellion or revolution began to spread among the masses of black people in this country, and they began to take an active part, and they showed that they weren't confined to this nonviolent approach. Then the government or the power structure began to sit up and take notice and